first draft of the 2019 city budget means a hike for Suites. Presented at last night's city council meeting, this budget will propose a tax hike of 3.57%. According to a briefing by city staff, the tax increase will allow the city to continue the same level of service they maintained in 2018. The 2019 budget calls for $4 million in increased spending. Out of that, $1.2 million is expected to come from city boards that are out of council's control, such as the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service. The presentation was just to table the budget. Discussions will take place during the budget deliberation meeting on February 5th. Final budget approval will take place in March. The city is hosting a budget session open house tomorrow from 4:30 to 5:30 at the Civic Centre in the Russ Ramsey Boardroom. No local municipalities were chosen during the first round of Doug Ford's province-wide cannabis lottery, but that didn't stop City Council from opting in as a potential retailer of cannabis in the future. The city has until January 22nd to submit their decision in writing to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. Council carried the motion during last night's meeting with a vote of 9-1 in favour. The resolution was passed without discussion or debate. Even Councillor Gardy, who voted against the resolution, didn't speak before the vote. Council also voted 9-1 in favor of regulating the consumption of cannabis, with Councillor Gardy voting in opposition after comparing smoking cannabis in public to walking down the street drinking a beer. This means that cannabis will be treated the same as tobacco, allowing users to consume it in the same public places as tobacco. Smoking in any enclosed workplace, any enclosed public places, and specifically designated outdoor places such as parks and playgrounds will be prohibited. In light of this vote, Councillors Shoemaker and Hilsinger presented a motion that was passed by all that the Hub Trail be added to the Sault Ste. Marie smoke-free bylaw. The federal government faces questions today about its plan to increase safety on commercial buses following last week's deadly crash in Ottawa that killed 3 people and injured nearly 24 more. The fresh scrutiny comes after Transportation Safety Board Chair Kathy Fox took aim yesterday at what she saw as the government's failure to act on earlier recommendations to increase crashworthiness rules for buses. Those recommendations sprang from the TSB's investigation into another Ottawa bus crash back in 2013, in which a city bus broke through a warning gate at a rail crossing and hit a moving passenger train, killing 6 people on the bus. Fox said Transport Canada had done some work on the recommendations, but that significant progress has not yet occurred and the safety deficiencies remain outstanding. She added that Friday's crash in Ottawa, as well as last year's collision involving the Humboldt junior hockey team, all underscore the need for Transport Canada to take action on implementing crashworthiness standards for buses. As we told you, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau rejigged his cabinet yesterday, adding 2 new faces and a new portfolio, and rewarding competence and friendship. However, it was his decision to move Jody Wilson-Raybould that was all the talk in political circles, despite Trudeau's insistence that her shift from the senior justice portfolio to the junior Veterans Affairs post was not a demotion. Tongues wagged even more when Wilson-Raybould took the unusual step of posting a long defense of her 3 years at Justice on her website, in which she hinted that she may have rubbed people the wrong way because her role as the government's lawyer required her to speak truth to power. Although she said she's proud to take on Veterans Affairs, Wilson-Raybould appeared to hint that she may quit politics, repeatedly thanking her supporters and constituents, and even at one point saying she will continue working to build a more just Canada, whatever public or private roles she plays. Trudeau praised Wilson-Raybould for overseeing legalization of medical assistance in dying and legalization of cannabis, and said he needed her tremendous skill in navigating very complex files at Veterans Affairs. A Salt Lake City suburban mall where 2 people were wounded Sunday in a gang-related shooting has reopened. Police said yesterday they arrested 2 19-year-old men, but they were unsure whether those men had been the gunmen.
It's been determined, at least the initial interaction was involving 2 separate gangs, members of 2 separate gangs, one of which had entered the mall and gone into or around a store. Another gang then entered around the same area or near the store. At some point, there was a verbal altercation between the members of the two separate gangs. As they got outside the second group that had gone in the mall, an individual there turned and fired at the first group that had entered the mall and wounding 2 individuals from there.